Brief to open. Just I feel fortunate that I have a staff and a program here that's able to attract some pretty upstanding young people because what those kids went through this year was really hard. And I thought what was on display most of the season, certainly in the last week, was just an unbelievable amount of pride and high character and care for the program. And it's what you want as a coach. Obviously, you want to win, but you want to see young men be able to have a bigger vision of what life's really about, and that's handling adversity and coming together, competing the right way. So, certainly very thankful for Bryce Williams and Isaac Likely for everything they did for us, for me personally, and obviously to all those other guys for being right there with them and with us, and allowing us to salvage somewhat of a successful season. I mean, I would imagine if the circumstances weren't what they were, the conversation would be about maybe some missed opportunities in league play, but not that the season's over. Like what's next? And unfortunately for these guys, and I feel terrible about it, because this should not be the end for them. They should have another opportunity to go and continue to compete. So that's disappointing, but I'm certainly thankful and proud as a coach today to see how our team competed.
We saw, of course, how everybody reacted in the locker or on the court afterwards, but what was the scene like in the locker room among the members of the team?
It took me a minute to get in there. The kids were obviously really excited. I got more emotional than I thought I would, in all honesty. But as I started to reflect on watching the way those kids competed, it really just burned me to my core that they don't get another opportunity to go and finish this thing the way most everybody else has an opportunity to finish it. So I probably dampened that mood of excitement, but I wanted them to know how much I appreciated them, how much I cared for what they did for us this year.
What do you tell a team that won its final game, but that's just kind of it?
Oh no, I'll put it in the book one day. Congratulations, I guess. I mean, I guess the team that wins the NCAA tournament will win 6 games in a row. And if the NIT happens, that team will win 5 in a row. I guess we'll have the third longest win streak in the country going into next season.
Mike, when you talk to your players and everything, you mentioned the pride. How much did you see that just kind of swell the last month, few weeks?
I'll be honest, it's been there most all the season. This season just always had an air of discomfort around it. I mean, just, it was kind of the elephant in the room. But we didn't always perform well. But I could count on one hand, not one hand, fully, how many times they didn't show up and really lay it on the line. I think Tech was buzzing when we went to Lubbock. I mean, that was a pretty big-time environment. They jumped on us early, and we didn't respond that day. Then we had a similar experience in Lawrence. Other than that, I mean, there were times we didn't perform. We didn't play well here against Xavier. But it's a 6-point game with 2.5 minutes to go. I mean, we're right there. We have opportunities to win. So I don't want to dismiss all those things because they happened in December, right? But to see them continue to do it is really what's impressive. Because once you realize, all right, you're not going undefeated, right? So that story's gone. And then you get in the league play and you're not going to win the league. In the last month, that was pretty well assured. To see them continue to do it is what's really impressive. Because at that point, and we probably had a little bit of it. We went to Florida in the second half of that game. Was really disappointing to me because of the way we played. I told you guys that. But those kids allowed us to coach them in that moment too. And they responded the right way. And since then, other than the trip to Lawrence, have really gave us everything they have. Certainly could easily have beaten Baylor here. We were in position to win last Saturday in Norman. So there were opportunities to have a better record. But I don't know if being 17-13 would have made me feel that much different, because they competed really hard the whole time.
With how they competed, does that make you feel better going into next year that you've got, I don't know who's going to say who's going to go, things like that, but you've got guys who aren't going to quit over things like that?
No, it makes me, right now, it makes me feel bad for these kids, to be honest. I mean, that's just how I feel. I feel terrible for Isaac Blakely. I mean, I really do. You know, he came in, and he's the only remaining person of his original recruitment. It's well documented, right? And we're here with some knuckleheads, some guys who may have not responded the way this team did when we had to dismiss a couple of guys he was recruited with, right? And he was a guy who figured out a way to continue to do things the right way. Gets sick, deals with the pandemic, changes positions, gets moved around all over the place, and never bats an eye at any of it. He deserves better, you know. And you know, I don't want to get myself in trouble, so I'm not going to call names, but everybody knows the deal. This is about the kids. This college basketball, college experience is supposed to be about giving them an opportunity to become the best version of themselves and then be rewarded for that. He did his part, and some adults did not.
Coach, kind of going back to the game, they went on a 7-0 run. You guys were down 10, you called timeout. What was the message at that point? Was it more game related, or was it just you guys, this is like your last chance to kind of make a statement?
I mean, it really wasn't. I mean, obviously, the entire week was a level of desperation that this is it. I mean, you know, the book's closing one way or the other, right? Doesn't matter. We can win, and we're not playing next week when it's over. And so it was a reminder of that, but it was also we were doing some just silly things. So there was a lot more basketball than just raw motion. We had to take better care of the ball. We had to get better in position to close out on O'Bander. We had to do a better job of defending against Bryce Williams. So it was a lot of basketball stuff, and I thought our guys responded well and defended really well late in the game.
Can you speak to the last 19 seconds where you were able to not allow them to shoot a shot, and I guess what were y'all able to do there?
Well, one of the things that we benefited from was not having foul. I guess we weren't playing great defense early in the first half. They were scoring a bunch, but we didn't have a whole lot of fouls. So we kind of was able to milk the clock a few seconds at a time and foul a couple of times. And then we got a couple of deflections, which burned some time and had them. They took the ball out in 3 different parts of the floor, which then they were subbing and trying to figure out which guys. And I think our guys were just locked in on being assignment sound. We didn't have any breakdowns. I think 3 different guys got deflections in that time frame. And that's really what we've been about all year. So it's fitting that we ended the season the way we were designed to be able to play, is to be able to stop people from getting easy baskets. And then when they shrunk the floor on them, it really made it probably more advantageous to us because we could use our length at the rim at that point.